If you feel like you don't like where you are right now in life, something needs to change, you can't just stay put where you are, but yet you don't know what to do next or which direction to go next, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll walk you through a simple exercise called the Ideal Self exercise. It's something that anyone can do at any point in time in their life when they feel a little lost, a little directionless, or if you just want to kind of do a little simple reset, in the middle of the year or at quarters throughout the year to just make sure that whatever action you're taking, whatever habits you're building are guiding you to where you want to go. Okay, before we begin, do bring out a piece of pen and paper, or if you wish to use your iPad, which is what I'm going to do right now, that's totally fine too. So to start, let's draw a little human figure in the middle. And this is going to be you as your ideal self. So let's give her some hair. Oh gosh, looks terrible, but never mind. And let's call her Ideal Ray. So that is the person that I want to embody, the person that I want to be, and we're gonna figure out who she is together. Oops, and she needs some legs. Okay, so the first step is to think about how does your ideal self want to feel every morning when she wakes up. And so to have some clarity around that, you need to also think about what you don't want to feel. Or let's just come to where you are right now, because right now is where you don't want to be, right? So how are you feeling right now? If I were to ask myself, someone who's watching this video will probably feel like they're feeling a little misaligned because they don't want to be where they are right now and they want to be somewhere where they are right now. So you want to feel feelings of alignment. Okay. And you might probably feel like where you are right now is that you're kind of like holding yourself back. You may have feelings of fear. You may have feelings of, I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't know. I'm afraid. You're not willing to try. And you feel like you're kind of holding yourself back. And you're afraid to speak up or afraid to really be 100% honest with yourself because your mind is all over the place. You're thinking, what if this? What if that? Oh no, I can't do this because of that. And so you're kind of like trying to be someone else but yourself. And when I think of what that state is like right now, it is a state of you holding yourself back and not stepping into your true power. And the opposite of that, of someone who's willing to step into their true power, someone who's ready to show up as 100% unapologetically themselves because they believe that they have the gifts and talents to showcase to the world, no matter if you're running a business or if you're working in a corporate job, it doesn't matter. Someone like that would appear to be very authentic. They would feel very authentic because everything they say, they truly believe. Everything, all the words that they use, it's very congruent with their values and principles. So I think that the second feeling we can identify is, is authentic. Okay. And the third one would be, how are you feeling? So to use contrast to kind of bring you to where you want to go, right? How are you feeling right now that in your in a way you're not feeling aligned, you're not feeling 100% yourself because you don't like where you are right now, you don't know what you want to do. And I guess you're probably also feeling something along the lines of a little bit of fear of inadequacy in terms of probably, say, financial stability. I think that's something many of us would feel when we are feeling very stuck and we don't know what direction to go next. There's always the practical concerns about financial sufficient, like whether you're able to provide for yourself or your family financially, whether or not it's enough, you're feeling like you're not enough to step ahead into the next step. And so that, I feel, is like feelings of inadequacy. And so the opposite of that is probably something like feelings of abundance. And abundance is a very broad term that, it can mean different aspects. It could mean financial abundance. It could also mean emotional or spiritual abundance, which can serve any of us, because when you're feeling abundant, you're able to do so much, versus if you're feeling like you're inadequate, it's gonna hold you back. It's gonna make you not step forward into your true power. So now that we've identified these three feelings, we'll go back one step to your thoughts and to figure out, okay, in order to feel feelings of alignment, authenticity, and abundance, then what does she have to think? Maybe I'll use a darker pen this time. So, to feel aligned, it means I feel like the words alignment and authenticity are quite close and closely related, because when you're aligned, you will be truly 100% yourself, and when you're 100% yourself, you will take aligned actions. So, what are some thoughts you can have to help you feel like your most aligned and abundant self? And when I trace it back, when I try to reverse engineer it, I realize that many of us don't dare to live as our authentic selves because we want to be someone else. And why do we think we want to be someone else? Because we feel like other people are better, and that we do not recognize ourselves enough. We don't feel worthy enough to show up as our true self. And that was something that I realized in the last couple of years, when I figured that, a lot of times, especially when I was younger, I realized that I always wanted to appear a certain way. And that was because I didn't feel like I was enough. I didn't feel like I was worthy as my true authentic self. And of course, this is going to dive in a lot deeper into like inner child work and stuff like that. But I'm not going to do that in this video. But I feel like at the core of it all, if you feel like and you fully believe that you are worthy in this world, no matter what your external circumstance is, you're able to then show up more authentically and live a more aligned life. So I feel like the most important thought to have is, I am worthy. Okay? And a big part of helping you to feel authentic is believing that you can actually take up space in this world, meaning you have something to offer. Your gifts and talents can help someone else out there. You just have to believe it, because if you don't believe it, you won't even show up, you won't even take action, you won't even post yourself out there. But if you believe that you are worthy to take up space in this world, and I don't mean in a very literal sense, but meaning like your voice can be heard. You know that your voice deserves to be heard because it's going to help someone else, then you would show up authentically and as your aligned self. So something very similar to I am worthy is, I can take up space in this world. Okay? So these kind of thoughts would help you to feel more aligned and more authentic to move you forward. And the last part, which is to feel feelings of abundance, it would mean to feel like you have more than enough, no matter what your external circumstance look like, no matter what house you stay, what car you drive or whether you even drive in the first place, how your body looks, all the external metrics, no matter what it is, you have to believe that you have enough. And this enoughness, of course, I'm talking about the physical aspect of things, but also it is closely related to the first thought, which is I am worthy, I am enough. You're more than enough. You don't have to prove yourself further. You are already enough as you are. But to have thoughts that I am enough and I have enough, it helps you to feel like you're so blessed. Like every day I tell my daughter and my son, oh, we're so blessed. We live in such a wonderful place. We can see beautiful sunrise and sunset. We have such a nice view outside our window. Our home is so spacious and we have so much space. We have so much in our lives. We have so many toys. We have more than enough clothes. And it just makes me feel and makes them feel like, wow, I have so much. I don't need more. I have enough. And it just puts you in the right mindset to show up and live your life as a very grateful individual. So just to recap from here, we first started off with identifying what kind of feelings we want to feel as our ideal self. And sometimes if that also feels difficult, reference it off to where you are right now. How are you feeling right now? And then what is the opposite of that feeling? If you're feeling misaligned, lost, you're feeling like you're holding yourself back, you're feeling like, oh, I don't think I have enough, I need more, I need the bigger house, the bigger car. Those are feelings of misalignment, inauthenticity, and scarcity, fear of an inadequacy. And so the opposite of those feelings are alignment, authenticity, and abundance. And of course, these are just examples that I'm kind of using from my own reference and how I think. You have to come up with your own feelings that you want to feel. Then the second step that we did was to go back to our thoughts and think about, okay, if I want to feel this way, what do I need to think? So for Ideal Ray, she needs to think, I am worthy, I can take up space in this world, I am enough and I have enough. And when she thinks about that, and now if I were to just take a pause and really think about, okay, if I think about these thoughts, do I actually feel like I'm aligned? Do I feel like I can show up as my authentic self? Yes, because I know I'm worthy. I can just be myself. I don't have to be someone else. I know that I have gifts and talents to share in this world, and I'll show up as my authentic self. And if I think that I am enough and I have enough, I practice gratitude. That's when I have feelings of abundance. So that those would really help channel those feelings. And the last step that we want to do here is, now that we have gone back from feelings to thoughts, we want to then think about what actions. Oh no, my pen. Okay, so I'm pointing to the hand because the hands would be doing stuff, right? So if you think about your ideal self, if she's feeling feelings of alignment, what would she do? Well, she would show up doing things she wants to do, right? If she wants to post that video about this particular topic, she would. She wouldn't hold herself back. She wouldn't hold herself back because she knows that she needs to share that piece of information out there. And she knows that her voice is worthy to be heard. And so, of course, this is going to be very subjective to each individual. For me, when I feel like I'm in alignment and I feel like I'm authentic, I would show up and post content. So that's the piece of action that my ideal self would do, right? And posting content is important because I've chosen to step into this world of content creation to share my experience and things that I've learned along the way, because I want to help someone else with my voice. And so when I feel feelings of alignment or authenticity, I would show up to post content, and I would show up consistently because I believe that what I know can help someone else, right? And what other actions will I be doing if I were feeling aligned, authentic, and abundant? Well, I would then, um, you know, show up and put out my offer. I would create something to help someone because this is what I want to do. This is what Ideal Ray wants to do. She believes that she has gifts and talents that can help someone else, which is exactly what I did 5 years ago. When I showed up, I decluttered my home and realized that this was something I could do and I enjoyed doing. That was when I declared to the world that, okay, hey guys, I'm going to declutter homes for now. And so for the last 4 years, you've seen me and my team at Orderly decluttering and organizing homes because I put myself out there and I told the world that, hey guys, this is something I can help you out with. This is something me and my team are good at doing, and I'll be able to help you improve your life. And yes, it is a business, but we're not just out to make money. We honestly just want to help people improve their lives. And it is through this journey that I realized, um, I had to feel aligned, authentic, and abundant in order for me to show up, post content, and also to dare to tell the world that I I have something to offer you guys, and if you feel good, come and engage my services. Okay, so these are the actions that I would do. Some other actions of Ideal Ray would be she would take care of herself. Okay, because she believes that when she takes care of herself, she can better take care of her loved ones. That is the same concept as wearing the oxygen mask. If you don't put on your own oxygen mask first, you can't put on the mask for your kids and your family. She also sets very clear boundaries, and this is pertaining to a few aspects of life, but mainly I would like to focus on time. So it's about the fact that Ideal Ray would be very clear about what's important to her and what's not, and she will be radically honest to people about what she wants to make time for and what she doesn't want to make time for. So that is how the authentic element come in. When I'm feeling authentic and I'm not afraid to tell you honestly what I think, with love and respect, then I will be able to set clear boundaries, and I expect you to respect my boundary. So this is something that I also had to learn along the way, because growing up, I very much was a people pleaser, and I was so afraid to say no to people. But in the last few years, as I was running my business, I think entrepreneurship is really like self-development on steroid. You really have to learn so fast. I realized that when we don't set boundaries as business owners or as people running a business, we will often easily end up in burnout. And it is our responsibility to set clear boundaries, so that people know what's the limit and where not to cross. So if Ideal Ray is feeling authentic, she would be able to communicate her boundaries very clearly. And right now, I think that's something that I've also managed to learn and gain a bit more mastery over the years, which is to be really clear about how I manage my time, because I know that these are my priorities and this is how much time I want to allocate to my priorities. And then I make sure every single week I try my very best to live my life and schedule my time according to those priorities. One very easy example is going to the gym. So health is very important to me because 3 years ago I burnt out and I was working so hard. I was organizing so many houses throughout the week that my body just broke down. I was constantly having hives. I was having like neck and back sprain. And at that point in time, I still didn't want to rest because I tied my self-worth to my achievements, to my external achievements. And that was when I realized that, it's my responsibility to take care of myself and to really be very clear about what's important and what's not. At that point in time, I was constantly chasing the external, wanting the business to grow, wanting to gain more visibility for the business. And so every client that came, we took on. But soon my body couldn't take it. And so I had lots of like backache, neck ache, headache, neck sprain, and all these kind of problems, and skin allergies and stuff like that. And that was really my body telling me to rest. And that was my body telling me and teaching me that you need to set clearer boundaries. And so from that point onwards, somewhere around 2023, we then became very clear about making sure that we have off days, that we don't do projects. And really that was the beginning of how I became a lot better with setting boundaries. And the version of me today versus the me in 2023, I'm a lot better with setting boundaries, but I think Ideal Ray would even be better at doing so. So this is actually the whole exercise. I think I'm done with the ideal self exercise. Really is getting clear first with your feelings, and then kind of going back to what kind of thoughts would you need to think in order to feel those feelings, and then kind of moving ahead to, okay, if your ideal self are feeling these feelings, what kind of action would she do? So now that you have the whole picture here, now that I have the whole picture here, why can't I zoom in? Okay. Now that I have the whole picture here, it helps me to see why, it helps me to understand, now that I have the whole picture here, it helps me to understand this is the ideal self that I want to embody. And so what that then represents is every single day when I wake up, and if I were to feel lost, directionless, I start off with asking myself, how do I want to feel? And then I bring myself back to the thoughts. What do I need to think? And then I bring myself forward to, okay, what does that mean in terms of my action? So for me, whenever I feel a little lost, I know what I need to do is just show up and post a piece of content. Because every time I post a piece of content out there, I share my thoughts. I force myself to do this uncomfortable thing of speaking to the camera and sharing my thoughts. It pushes me a little bit. It is so uncomfortable, but the more I do it, the more I realize that I'm still alive. Nobody died in the process, and that I actually helped someone in the process. And although I've been doing this for a long time now, well, not super long, but long enough, it still doesn't feel like it's second nature. I still feel like I have to overcome my own inner demons and push myself to do it every day. And so, this is me just proving and, sharing this process with you. And I hope it also encourages you to embody the feelings and thoughts of your ideal self, so that you can then take action as your ideal self, and as a result, bring you one step closer to where you want to go, or along the way, gain a lot more clarity as to where you want to go. Because clarity doesn't come from a super well thought out plan. Clarity comes from action. And that was something that I had to learn the hard way as well, because I'm a super planner. I love planning things, but it often also masks itself it is a mask for procrastinating, because I think that planning is what I need to do to get clear, but actually after many months of not taking action, I realized my planning is actually hindering me, and what I need to do is just do the goddamn thing and take the goddamn action, because that will actually move me forward, and that will actually give me clarity along the way. Because when I try certain things, I realize what I don't enjoy and what I do enjoy, and that's when I get a little bit clearer step by step by step. So yes, this is pretty much it for this video. I hope this ideal self exercise has been useful. If you tried it out, let me know in the comment section how it was. How did you find the experience? And if you don't mind sharing with everyone, what are the 3 feelings that you want to feel every single day? Just share about the feelings. You don't have to share about the thoughts and the actions, but I really am curious to know, like, how do you want to feel every single day? And use those feelings to anchor how you can intentionally choose your thoughts, better thoughts, and then use that to guide you towards your actions. And that's all for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.